Welcome back. We're here to preview Sunday afternoon's Premier League game between Arsenal and Aston Villa. Now, we'll start with Arsenal. It's 4 wins out of 5 in the Premier League now, and last time at City it was arguably one of their best performances in recent memory.
Yeah, it was an excellent win, wasn't it? I think against Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City in recent seasons, they've really struggled, and to get in the top 4 without doing well against those sides has been because they've done well against the smaller sides. But to beat City at City 2-0, it was some performance. I don't think anyone thought Arsenal had in them, was it? They sort of went there, shut up shop, and Arsenal are always the team who they go forward far too much. They push their wing backs far too forward, even when they're 1-0 up. But even when they went 1-0 up, Santi Cazorla penalty, it was they sort of hung back, didn't they? And obviously they snatched the second goal very much against the run of play. But after that, that's what you've got to do. You've got to sort of play on the counter, especially at City. Let them have the ball and try and sit back. And I don't think with Arsenal, their defence. I mean, Mertesacker worries me every time I see him. But Koscielny coming back is obviously important. But for them to do that to City, who didn't play well in that game, but nonetheless to go there and beat City 2-0 is a massive, massive hopes for their top 4.
Definitely, they're only 1 point off the top 4 now, and since then they've been in FA Cup action. You know, they beat Brighton 3-2 down on the South Coast. I think that was a good win for them because Brighton, they had a really encouraging win against high-flying Ipswich a couple of days earlier. So, you know, for them to then go down to the Amex, you know, score early. Theo Walcott got the early goal, didn't he? I think that was his first goal in over a year. So that's a huge confidence boost for him. And obviously Arsenal, they'll look at the FA Cup now and see, you know, a lot of big teams gone out. We know Chelsea and City, those amazing results against Bradford and Middlesbrough. But Spurs, Everton, they're also out. United and Liverpool, they're not yet through. You know, you expect them to go through from their replays. But you know, Arsenal, they got a decent draw as well. You know, at home to Middlesbrough, but we know Middlesbrough won't be an easy game for them because of what they did at City. They were fantastic at City, weren't they? City looked like an ordinary side. You know, they probably deserved that win at the Etihad, which is just amazing. But you know, you expect Arsenal to go through against Middlesbrough, and you wonder they've probably got a really good chance this season of winning the FA Cup for a second year in a row.
Absolutely. Moving on to Villa, obviously we're about to win 7 in the league, and it's been a poor season overall, hasn't it? Last time out against Liverpool, they sort of welcomed the Liverpool side, who were in decent form, but they'd have fancied their chances at home of taking at least a point from that game. I mean, they held Manchester United early on this season, but never really transpired. They struggled. I mean, obviously Liverpool ended up winning the game 2-0, and it was disappointing. I think the main thing from that game to take is it's another blank, wasn't it? They've scored 11 goals in 22 games this season. For them not to be in the relegation zone with that, obviously they're very close to the relegation zone, but I think they'll go down this season. Personally, because they don't score enough goals. I mean, Benteke, everyone talks about him. He had a good season, didn't he? I mean, he lacks service, though. I mean, all the best we've seen that with Falcao at Manchester United. If you don't have service, you're not going to score goals. And obviously, it's important to have players in midfield that can contribute. I mean, Cleverley doesn't do enough, and people like Westwood and Wyman comes in every now and again, but struggling for goals, and that's going to be their downfall, I think.
One thing I would say about the creativity, there's positives in the fact that Carlos Gilly's come in from Valencia, I think it was in Spain, and he scored a fantastic goal in the FA Cup against Bournemouth. That was going to be always a really tough game for Villa because Bournemouth, they're top of the Championship, but Eddie Howe, the Bournemouth manager, I think he made 8 changes to his normal sort of league starting lineup for that game. And the Bournemouth in the first half, they were really good at Villa Park, and they probably should have gone maybe 1 or 2 goals ahead, but they weren't able to do so. And then Gill scored a fantastic curling goal, superb goal. Obviously his first goal on his first start for the club, so he could come in and it looks like he might be able to offer something. He's quite a tricky winger, likes to play on the right, cut inside onto his left foot, and if he can score goals like that, obviously, like you say, that can help the goal problem for Villa. And they scored another great goal, Vyman. It was a nice team move as well, so that'll give them confidence. They've since drawn, I think, Leicester at home in the 5th round, so you know, we talked about all the big teams going out. If Villa can keep getting favourable draws, they'll fancy themselves against Leicester, even though they beat Spurs in the last round. So Villa could have a deep cup run, but I think, you know, the win against Bournemouth will be a big confidence booster for them. But like I said, it's no wins in 7 in the league now. They need to start climbing the table because they're only 3 points off the drop zone.
You mentioned Gill. I think he did really well at Valencia. It never quite happened for him, but he's a lovely footballer. Like I said, he'll be important. And Fabian Delph as well to get him tied down to that new deal. I think everyone's agreed. Obviously, he broke into the England setup, didn't he, earlier in the season? I think everyone's sort of is of the opinion that he is, with Benteke, like their best player, isn't he? I mean, he was linked with Arsenal and Liverpool, and to get him tied down to a long deal, whether that's with the view of selling him on in the summer. I mean, football's a business. If they go down, obviously they're not going to keep him. So to stay in the league is obviously going to be important, and Delph is going to be absolutely vital to that. So he'll also be vital in this game as well.
Definitely. I think the cynics, they'll sort of say, you know, that Villa have just got a new contract for him so they can sell him for more money in the summer. But yeah, he was brilliant for England at the start of the season, wasn't he? Absolutely fantastic. You know, those games against Switzerland, he really did shine, but since then he had his injury problems and sort of, you know, was a bit unlucky. But I think it is good news for them to time to a new deal. But I think Arsenal here, they'll definitely start as favourites. What's your score prediction?
Yeah, I think it'll be comfortable for Arsenal, and they're always sort of comfortable in these type of games. I think they did against Stoke a few weeks ago. I think it was 3-0. I think it'll be 3-0 again for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think I'm going to back Arsenal as well. It's hard to look past them for this game. I'm going to go 2-0, so both fancy Arsenal to win 2-0. Thanks for watching.